Knia Singh is a lawyer and human rights advocate, and earlier we spoke about the police practice of carding. He says he's been stopped by Toronto police up to 30 times. So Knia, if I may, let's start right there. 30 times is astonishing, and I'm so curious, how did that change you?
It really drove me to understand the law. Luckily, I had a little bit of understanding, so my interactions with the police, I could articulate myself and things didn't get out of hand. But it's very stressful to be stopped for no reason so many times. And understanding the law just allowed me to fend for myself and now other members of the community.
When I think about that context of all you've experienced and all that you do, what's the worth of today's apology for you?
Well, for me, today's apology really signals finally a chief is acknowledging the problems at Toronto Police. There have been previous chiefs who have started stepping in the way. Saunders started with the way forward. Blair teetered around a little things, but then a chief like Fantino outright denied the existence of racial profiling in these issues. So for Chief Raymer to come forward and say this explicitly, apologize, to me it's a good signal. But I know for members of the community who experience the oppression and the violence daily throughout their lives, they want to see more. So I think aside from the apology, there has to be action. The only way this apology can mean anything is if there's accountability that follows.
And you were talking about the report, and we know that there's data in that report that has now been made public. And as people look at the numbers, I'm curious what you look at in the sense of what's the missing information there? What are the questions you now really need answered?
Well, I really want to know about all the people who never reported their incidents. As a criminal defense lawyer, I'm in contact with people who have these experiences all the time, and they're too scared to come forward. So if we have such a drastic condition with the data we have, what about all the other unreported incidents? And I'd really like to see the police open up to the community to say, come and tell us your story so we can really evaluate this. So this is just the tip of the iceberg. I'd like to see more people come forward with their instances.
And I suppose you're not just talking about a Toronto experience there, because that data was just about Toronto.
Well, exactly. And this is a problem across the province, across the nation, and across North America. And I can say through experience again, the farther you move outside of Toronto is the worst treatment you get by police officers. It gets egregious to the point where they don't even care sometimes that they're violating your rights because of your color. So, Toronto, it should be an example for all other police forces, and they should really reflect and do the same. And hopefully we can start putting a dent in this problem because it's been far too long.
So there's a lot to take in about what happened today. Lots of people have ideas about what was missing today, and I'm curious what your ideas are about what has to happen next to make the apology more than words.
Well, the newly elected Ford government has to act on this. When they came into power in 2018, they actually revoked the revision of the Police Services Act, which put in a lot of accountability measures. And for them to remove that just shows that they're not concerned about it. With this report, the Conservative government has to do something, and they have to look at the Police Services Act and how can they hold officers accountable? Because if an officer loses their job for using excessive violence or racial profiling, they'll think twice before they do it. I honestly don't think any amount of training is going to change this. It's an embedded culture, and it can only change through time and through accountability measures. There has to be consequences for actions.
All right, Knia Singh, thank you very much.
Thank you, Adrienne.